Let's face it, we suck at staying in shape.
But this year, we're going to get our bodies
And our minds into a better place.
Join us on our journey to wellness.
And no matter what happens,
We'll see you in health. And welcome back to another episode of See You in Health. Today's episode is brought to you by...
depression.
Just gonna take the old, I mean, I don't think they're around anymore, but that old brand Menon by Menon. Do you remember
Men
that?
in what? What are they in? No.
Oh, it was like, maybe it was from the 80s, but I think it was deodorant, aftershave, something. We could just replace
6 feet under?
Replace that, that old slogan, which was by Menon.
I think it's probably so old, Scott, that it's in the public domain, so we might as well take it.
Yeah, it's ours now.
Let's touch base about just how we are right now, because as this show is tailored, we like to talk about where we're at. We are going to go into some news, and then at the end of the show, we're going to reveal our results from the previous week. Scott, you got some news to share. Tell the world.
Tell the world. Make it a better place.
Listen, you've now sang 2 songs that we don't know if are in the public domain, and we could be screwed.
Yeah. That last one was from MJ. He's dead, but his estate is not. So, I've got a mixed bag of feelings. Like, last week, I know I did really well. The results may shock you, but on that side, and I know what I did to get there. I'm pretty sure I know what I did to get there. And I'm not repeating those steps this week, even though we've got like a week to go before we weigh ourselves again. And so I think I could turn it around. But I've been eating like crap, Willie. And I don't feel
this
good.
Week?
Okay. I mean, since we weighed ourselves. And I was like, And I just haven't had the same steps, the same amount of
I hear you.
steps. And so I'm worried, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, fuck. I am headed for a potential teeter-totter, roller coaster, whatever you want to call it. And I don't want that. I want momentum. I want to pick it back up, run with it, score the touchdown, fit into my bikini for next beach season.
It's everything I've always wanted.
Yeah, and go get a Brazilian. That's all I want out of life. But on the other hand,
I'll do it for free.
I know. We'll wax it. We'll put it on the show. Figure out a way.
Just put it up there with my foot.
Just give it a quick rip.
Dude, it's back, by the way. It's back.
Your foot? Oh, has it spread?
No, not spreading, just cursing me to the grave.
Okay. All right. But what's got me feeling really good and also anxious is we applied for a dog. We met the dog, and our application was accepted. The dog is scheduled to get surgery in a couple days. And after that, we can take him home. But I don't know. I've never had surgery myself. Have you?
No.
Anesthetic put under?
Not that I know of.
Okay, and I'm assuming it's been a minute since I've peeped your nethers, but I'm assuming you haven't had a surgery as of late that removed a part of your identity.
My dignity. But that was a finger.
No dignity, no doubt. Yeah, if anything, you've had things added, digits added into you, rather than subtracted. Yes. So I'm sure it'll go fine. It happens every day. It's probably like flying a plane. You know, I just hope Boeing isn't in charge of the surgery center. Ugh, cut that. Probably don't want that.
They do so many of these surgeries, Scott.
Yeah.
So when you get this little guy neutered, everything is going to be fine. And they're going to hate that experience. And the first thing they're going to see is you. So if you fuck it up for life, no respect.
No, they're not going to see me. They're going to see the person that's fostering them. So the hope is they're going to be like, well, how could you do this to me? How could you betray me? And want to leave. And then when I come and rescue them, they'll just be like, oh, my savior, my best friend in the whole world. I'll do whatever you say. And I'll be like, yes, sweet little dog, I have rescued you. Ha, 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 ha. Come with me.
I'm excited for you guys. What I want you to know is this dog is young. And if there's one thing that you're going to have to sacrifice, it's going to be sleep. You're going to get shit sleep for like a month. It's like having a child.
Which neither of us have ever had. So
Nope.
we don't know what that's like. But we've definitely slept shitty for more than a month. I don't know if I've gotten good sleep since high school.
Everything that I read online tells me it's like kids. I don't have firsthand knowledge, but it's the same.
I do have a lot of friends that have said do not get a puppy and a baby at the same time because it's essentially two babies. So,
yeah.
I've also had another set of people, I don't know if I'd call them friends, they're mostly just online random people that say we should keep kids in cages.
What websites are you on?
Border Patrol, lawmen.com.
You were looking for the PWHL's Minnesota website for frost, and you typed in ice, didn't you? Honest mistake, I've been there.
All right, enough about me. How are you? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, last we spoke, I shared a little bit of history with my mom going through cancer. And man, it all of it is coming to a head. And so I'm hoping to take some time to just mentally focus. Mm-hmm. Scott, man, it's so crazy. Every therapist, I know I've shared this before, but every therapist that I've had, I've taken that approach of like, there's no way that I'm going to cry. Nope, not one bit. I'm not going to cry. And for the most part, that was true, other than like really traumatic moments. But dude, somehow I went into this session today and I was like, no way, I'm not crying. I'm not there. I have no fucks to give. Tears, man.
You're going in as a Johnson & Johnson approach, but you're leaving as
a little bitch. No, changed, better.
Yeah. You got some catharsis.
This, by the way, was not my goal. I just want to share this. Okay. In the past, I have made my therapists cry before I cried. And I've always been like, ooh.
What?
Don't do that.
Why are they crying?
Well, like one of them was like a
little bitch,
an animal moment.
Oh, okay.
This therapist that I have is so professional, so thoughtful, knows how to like pull the strings that make me just, feel things. But
I've been to one of those, yeah.
Uno reverse today. Reverse. This week on TikTok, I saw a video. And as I was sharing this as a part of I was talking about how I have been saying out loud to my wife, like, I am trying to practice self-compassion. I am trying to get better at being compassionate for me. And it was in therapy that it clicked that I'm not actually there. I'm not doing it for me. I'm saying that, but in reality, I'm seeking it from others. And so part of my brain just made this connection of I kept saying, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me. I'm trying to find it in me. But what that was more of a cry for help from others. And then I related it to on TikTok, this video comes up and it's Steve from Blue's Clues.
That's why I saw him.
And he just says, hey, how are you? And listens. And it's 30 seconds of him just listening. And it reaches so far down your soul to find that kid, that little boy who felt safe and cared for, and pulls it up and makes you realize, oh, you're not getting that right now. And so as I'm like watching this, other videos are popping up of these grown men, big beefy dudes, just bawling because they're like, I haven't felt this level of empathy since I was a kid.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. As
You're
we
too
hear,
old for Blue's Clues.
truth, I was, and I saw that video pop up, and I was like, who is this? I looked down. I'm like, oh, I'm Steve from blah blah blah, and I go, oh, cool. Shut the fuck up, Steve, and I swiped.
You're such a dick. It's, dude.
I know. Okay.
So
Hear me out. I have a couple questions follow up for what you're
Okay.
going through in this, but what you just said makes a lot of sense because I'm somebody who has a chronic disease. There is a daily struggle with trying to associate, like, what is life like as somebody who did not have this at one point, as somebody who has this one point and could potentially have it for the rest of my days. You just keep like flipping the pages back to when you did not have to suffer like this and how good it felt. There are days where you even forget what it was like to not have this constant process of suffering or just the thought of suffering, whether you are or whether you aren't. And it all goes back to like your parents taking care of you. And there was a point in time where like you felt safe and you felt the most compassion is a good way to put it. And that's not for everybody, I understand. But for me, that was like when I was in middle school. Like I can just think of all the times where I felt the most safe and I was healthy as a horse, as they say. I could eat whatever I want and I wasn't sleep as long as I want. I had shelter and food and rides to everywhere.
Huge penis.
Yeah, it was, you know, I didn't notice it too much. It was constantly, you know, like out of focus because my hand was moving too fast.
Oh God, we're talking about children.
So what, when you felt the lack of compassion, what made you kind of like say, I'm not being kind enough to myself before realizing the other way?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize, like, were you just saying like, I'm a fat bastard, or I'm not good enough? Like, gosh, even my dog it's in my bed.
Like the vast majority of things I'm working on is this need for perfection, to do everything perfectly, and an inability to do so. And as I have shared in these sessions, it's like I'm reflecting on the people that growing up or are around me in my life I viewed as like the best at what they do. And I've said, okay, in order to do that, here's the things that I need to sacrifice to be best. And I was given homework today. Fuck. To have fun.
Oh, okay.
What? What'd you say? It's fine.
No, I mean, I thought it was the bad homework. And then when I said my word, could be the good homework.
Yeah, so it was have fun. And man, that wrecked me too.
I'd be like, do you know how much I have to do? You want me to go have fun? I'm literally losing money every second of the day that I'm not making money.
That and to your point, Scott, this like ever cycling feeling of remembering what it was like before that illness.
Yeah.
Being told to go have fun felt like such an uphill battle.
Yeah.
That my goal this week is to have more fun.
I forced myself to play video games today. I haven't played them in a month. Just because I felt like there's so many other things to do. Mm-hmm. Last week, Willie, I said, on my day off, I'm going to go play some video games. Instead, I said, or I could do some laundry. And when I was done with the laundry, I'm like, okay, let's go play 30 minutes of video games. Or I could clean up my office that is just, full of stuff from my parents' house that I took home. Did some significant work there. Good. I was like, good. Now I can reward myself with playing video games for an hour. Or it just kept going. Like, I never ended up doing something for myself. It was always, let's try to improve something else. So it's like one less thing on the list that I have of things I feel like I need to get done. And at the end of the day, I felt good because those things are like an anchor in the back of my skull, dragging every single day, saying like, you need to do this, you need to get this done.
There's something that I'm seeking as part of fun. And I think a lot of this is reframing what fun is as we're middle-aged adults now.
Oh, you're seeking adult fun.
Nice. We're only 5 minutes away now. You can just come right over. The idea is when your right brain starts processing something, your left brain can kind of shut it off, and vice versa. And so you're giving your brain a break for the very analytical part of your mind. That the analytical side is your left brain, right? You're focused on the math and the process and putting things in place, versus the right side of your mind, which is creativity and trying to change and innovate and be creative, have fun.
I don't know if I have a left brain.
Probably not. Well, I think you do. You're very analytical.
I'm super analytical.
That's like when you research anything, it takes you freaking forever.
Yeah. I put the anal in analytical.
Seriously, come on over. But what my therapist shared was like, when you merge those two things together, it's what they call a flow state, where things just, they're zooming, they're vibing. You are just, everything feels a little easier.
You're the avatar. Yeah.
Have you ever been there where it's just like, can you remember the last time that things just seem to just flow?
And I think it was back when, right before I started dating my wife. Like, I had a routine. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of depression associated with being alone and not dating anybody. But, like, I had a routine. I would go to work. I would work out.
No, hold on. You're thinking too broad.
Oh, too broad?
I'm saying a flow state is small. It's like an activity. Let me give you an example while you think about it.
Yeah.
I was told, because I struggle to clean, I want to do things perfectly.
Yeah.
And so I struggle to just get started because like that beginning part is difficult. What I was told was just put things in buckets and don't worry about it. Just like throw them, like all of the electrical stuff goes in this one. All of the plumbing stuff goes in this one. And so I went into the garage and I spent 2 days and I just threw shit in buckets. Like I surrounded myself with buckets and I just like, I would pile stuff on this table and throw shit in buckets. And I found one day that I was like, I was just going. I was listening to a podcast. Mm-hmm. I was zooming through this. All of a sudden, I pick up all of the drill bits that I had, and I was like, I got this. And I Google searched the packaging that I had to figure out what order all the bits go in.
Sure.
And I sat there and I put them all back. And I was so in the zone, just like, it felt like putting a puzzle together. Like I was just sitting there like, this one goes here, and this one goes here. Yeah. My neighbor looks down upon her deck and goes, "Hey, Willie, what are you doing?" And I was like, putting my bits back together. That was it, man. I was just in the zone.
Sure. Auto zone. I think, so like, I guess an example would be like cooking. Might be the last time I was in it. Same thing like you. I put on either a podcast or a video and I just start going. And I know what to do. Like I've made the meal 100 times, or it's a new recipe I'm trying, but it's just like, all right, wife, I love you, but please leave the kitchen. It's time to cook.
It's so progressive of you.
I'm happy to be in there. Listen, I'm all about equality and being a stay-at-home, soon-to-be dog dad. Yeah, Yeah. I would do that. I would definitely do that.
Me too. But I think that's the goal, right? As we get older, is like find joy and fun in stupid little stuff like that.
Because that's all there is left.
That's all. That's it.
Billionaires have all the money. We've just got stupid stuff.
Scott, I want to transition into
Don't pause. Keep going. Talk more.
into aging. I want to transition into aging.
Well, it's gonna naturally.
I saw this article this week from Nat Geo, and it said your body ages rapidly in 2 bursts, and here's how to prepare. Those 2 different ages, Scott's approaching one of them rapidly, age 44 and age 60.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to put the caveat up front. I'm not going to do what Nat Geo did and put it at the very bottom, which is to say that like the limitations and potentially the bias in this study is that everybody they studied was living in California. It was hundreds of people, but also all kind of in the same area. So there's a potential that some of this is a little misleading. But essentially,
it's not a blue zone.
Right. What? Is that safe zone?
Do you know about the blue zones? Like there's 7 blue zones in the world.
Rivers?
There's more than 7. No, this is a spot where the people or population are somehow defying the natural aging process. So like, the Mediterranean has one and Japan has one. I believe there is one in the United States. It actually might be in California now that I think about it, but
okay. Kansas.
Yeah. I'll tell you where it's not. Florida.
Never. Nope. They're all dying. Anyway, so here's what this study revealed. It said that many people start to feel their age rather suddenly. And so as they've researched and then tested the molecular genetics, this is from a doctor named David Sinclair, who is a
Harvard
molecular geneticist. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So you know him.
Yes.
He has said that what we notice is that the molecules in our cells have plateaus, and they change significantly around that 44 and around that 60 years old. It's these large shifts versus kind of a normal trajectory of death.
What does that even mean? Anyway, Dr. David Sinclair, for those who don't know, is trying to cure aging. That is his research.
Would make sense then.
Yeah. And he's got it down to like, he's torn the cell apart. He said mitochondria, just chill out for a second. Yep. I'm trying to figure out how all these parts work. And he wants to make it so that the cells do not age the way they are. So 44, what you're going to see at 44. And the thing is, Scott, is I think you're all good to go here. It says that if essentially all of the molecular changes are happening in the cells that affect metabolism. This happened for me a year and change ago, maybe 2 years ago. Forget 44. It happened at 40, Willie.
But they say like it's harder for your body to process caffeine. It's harder to process alcohol. Those are things that you don't do anyways.
Yep.
And then at 60, that's when you start to see like some bigger issues. That's when you'll see things like kidney function, immune health, cardiovascular disorders start to show up. All of those things happen around the 60s. Now, Scott, I went to the bottom and I said, all right, how do we prevent this?
All right, please tell me there's something we could do.
Because all of us, that's all we want, is we want to live forever in a a state that cares about us. Mm-hmm. What do you think you need to do?
I'm just going to go out on a limb as somebody who's not a doctor and doesn't study this for a living. I'm going to guess that we have to exercise.
Yep.
I'm going to guess we're going to have to eat better.
Yeah, more vegetables, less red meat.
Okay. I think we need to sleep more.
Prioritize sleeping, Scott.
Okay. Let's see here. Reduce the consumption of alcohol.
You're there. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Lift heavy weights to keep on your muscle mass.
Yep.
Eat less meat. Eat more vegetables. Prioritize sleeping. Drink less. And stay active. That's it. Scott, it's all the same shit we're already doing.
It's not hard, people. We just have to do it. We have to commit, be each other's accountability buddies, and get to it. Right?
And be less stressed.
It's that one that everybody, I think, has trouble with. Everybody can smoke a fat fastball that comes right down the middle of the plate. However, it's like a knuckleball, right? Stress is the Tim Wakefield of our lives.
Cool.
Now, Willie just gave some great advice for us, which we have been practicing. I don't know. How long have we been doing this show now? 6 months? 7 months?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready to get serious.
Me too. I think we should actually take it seriously one of these days. I've got some advice that comes from the people that you'd think we could trust the most. Doctors. Saying things that maybe just aren't the best. And I'm not saying we shouldn't trust our doctors, but you should realize what's best for you, what works for you, so that you can continue on the journey that will get you to where you want to go. So even though we're saying drink less, sleep more, be less stressed, you can live your own life. It's fine.
Yeah, I drink more and sleep less.
Yeah. But Willie, what if I told you that there's some doctors that are out there giving less than good advice? Would you want to hear some of the scary ones?
Up my butt.
I don't think that person was a doctor. I think that was just going on some streaming site. And now you're a star.
It was weird that it was a telehealth appointment, though.
A chocolate star, yeah. All right, this random person, because I'm going to keep everybody anonymous here, says, my gynecologist suggested that I use a tanning bed to treat my seasonal depression. And when I asked her about the health risks, she replied that it was safer than being dead.
No.
That kind of sounds right.
Technically not. Right?
When I was a new single mom, I was having significant pain in my wrists. I was referred to a physical therapist.
That's usually what happens before you become a mom.
It's also a way to prevent you from becoming a mom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was referred to a physical therapist who told me the solution was not to hold the baby. I'm a single mom. The baby was 2 weeks old. What do you want me to do?
Kick it like a soccer ball, I guess. It's the only logical conclusion.
I was suffering from insomnia, and my doctor told me to try reading the Bible before going to bed. That might work, actually.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's really good. I would support that. It
depends on the chapter.
But, it reads like a George R.R. Martin novel. Like, there is so much information.
Yeah, anytime you read the Lord of the Rings, things feel a little dated. Like, ooh, I didn't realize we were using that word. Bible, same way.
I have a facial movement disorder that is so painful every waking minute. I've been to so many specialists that your head would spin. No diagnosis, no relief. I went to my primary and explained to her how this had ruined my quality of life and even my intimacy with my partner. I said, I'm begging you to find someone to help me. She pulled up a website and told me to wear a bondage mask to bed and said my partner and I would have the time of our lives.
Mom? I'm trying to understand. Why? How? Is it like a compression mask?
This one might be a little triggering, all right? So, I was 19 and about 35 pounds overweight. My doctor advised me to lose weight, and I said I was worried because when I tried to diet, I tended to relapse into anorexia. Her response? It's okay. At your size, you can afford to not eat for a while.
I bet that doctor didn't even think twice about what they said, just closed the curtain, went to the next room, and moved on, and that person will live with that their whole life.
They legally can't ask you to lose weight.
I think a doctor can.
No, they have to tell you to go stand on a scale,
Oh,
subtract 15, or in this case 35, and weigh that. And the last one, I went to a psychiatrist for depression, and after looking at my chart, he noticed I lived in a rather wealthy neighborhood. He started laughing at me and said, "You have money. What's there to be depressed about?"
hey, listen, that MFer needs to understand what our life is like.
So it just goes to show you that we're a show about advice, and there's a lot of it out there, but you don't have to listen to everything. Like, there's going to be some things that'll work. I've heard it put best where, yeah, we're supposed to do all these things, right? But we also are supposed to live. And I think that's been a struggle for me for a significant period of time, because when I get locked in, it's kind of like a pit bull, locks down on something, or a German Shepherd, Belgian Malinois. I've got a lot of dogs.
You're very
breeds
teethy.
running through my head. Yeah,
Got
but
it.
you lock on and you don't let go. And I'll forget. I'll have my blinders on to everything else that I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, maybe Willie and I shouldn't have gone to that bar last night and eaten a bunch of chicken wings, but they were really good.
Speaking of butt, I
really
wrecked my toilet right when I got home.
And also speaking of butt, let's finish the episode with our measurements on our badonkadonks.
Let's do it. This week, I think next week is going to be a stellar week, Scott, because I'm not allowed to have any sugars, bananas, canned fruits, dried fruits, mangoes, pineapples, raisins. I can't have any barley, buckwheat, corn.
You poor soul. I know how much barley and buckwheat you were consuming on a daily basis.
I know. I can't have quinoa just in general because I'm allergic. I can't have rice, wheat. I can't have any nuts or seeds. I can't have anything with gluten. I can't have any dairy and eggs, which I'm cheating. I can't have soy, alcohol, beans, or peppers.
I guess I can't call you soy boy anymore this week.
No, you can. It'll
All right.
make me feel at home. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
And as I lead into this 5-week elimination diet, I lost 2 pounds last week.
You said 1.5 this morning.
It's 223, and the last time we weighed in, I was 225, or at least that's what the little dot says.
All right. I'm just saying. I'm holding you accountable.
All right, hold on. Last week I was 224.9,
Mm-hmm.
and this week I am 223.2. So almost 2 pounds.
Good job.
Thank you. And it was in muscle. I lost muscle.
Oh, okay. Hey, goes back to the early days where I say a loss is a loss. I will say, as somebody who has reached the plateau of 165, it was a lot of muscle that I lost. I was a 165-pound weakling. My arms shrunk like half this size. Like,
Dude, I remember that.
Yeah, I was small. I was skinny fat.
See, this is what I like.
A neck vein, a tendon.
Just start. You can see it now. Go back to one of the first episodes.
Yeah, it's getting better. Your angle of your camera it gets to be straighter with your face every single week.
You don't know.
All right, so you're down 2 pounds. Your skeletal muscle mass also down.
A little bit.
Body fat also down.
Up a little bit.
Okay, all right. So this is why I was so scared at the beginning of the episode, because last week, or 2 weeks ago, I was pretty bummed about going up, and it was just down, 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 up, down, and it was just messing with my head. I increased a lot of protein because I watched a video that was saying,
Okay.
when you're working out, just go slower with your reps. Like if you have to drop the weight, that's fine, but you just be more mindful, more demure. So in the end, you can be very cutesy and just take your time. And when you get home, eat all the protein. And we've seen lots of videos that say you should do this immediately after you eat. Mm-hmm. You were telling me that there's a wide window potentially for
like
when
2
you
hours.
Right. But also throughout the whole day, as we were kind of talking about meal planning.
Yep.
And so I just really focused on having a piece of protein until I reached my goal every single meal. I lost 2.5 pounds.
That's a win.
Yes.
That's a win. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Nice job.
Yeah. And I gained 0.5 pound of muscle.
Nice.
0.6 pounds, actually. And dropped 0.5 pound of body fat.
Dude, that feels good, right?
I don't know how that math works. Where did the
I don't
other
either.
stuff go?
No idea.
Was it water? Was it bone density? What's going on?
Did you take a stellar dump beforehand? And think about all the sodium, the water weight that shrunk out after the state fair.
Sure. I bet that was a lot, honestly.
Yes. Yes, it was.
So that all feels good, but I have not been hitting my protein goals in the past 2 days since we last weighed in. And so I'm worried, nay, scared that this is going to come and bite me in the tuchus.
You never know, man. That might be your kink.
I'll just try, one of those BDSM masks and live in a rich neighborhood. I'll be fine.
Fine. Scott, if you're not going to come over to my house, I'm on my way. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening, for hanging out with us. Every week, it's a journey. It feels like we're getting better slowly. Next week, I want us to reflect on our first episode.
That sounds cool. We'll look back and see how far we've progressed. You thought I was going to say the other thing. Anyway, thank you very much for listening this week. We will see you
in health.